Hello everyone and welcome back. This is episode 3 of our Football Manager 2017 experiment, and a lot more transfer activity. I expected it straight from the beginning, but I think it's got to take time for the reputations of the team to dwindle out a little. So Sergio Aguero for 53 million, possibly 74, that's going to give Man City the money to get themselves back to the Premier League and build into the Premier League. I'd be tipping them to be one of the next teams to go up, them and possibly Chelsea or Tottenham. Liverpool, obviously the team that missed out on the playoffs. Now I'm expecting the 4 teams that are left to finish top 4 as expected, but good twist for it this time round. There is going to be a team from the National League originally who will make the playoffs with the big boys. So drag this down just to see. There's a load of players that have been released. We're not going to look at all them. But a big surprise here, Pepe, from Real Madrid to Chelsea for free. That's massive. For him to go to the National League to play for Chelsea, that's crazy, absolutely crazy. But the rest of it there, you see, isn't that crazy, except Gary Cahill has moved to Sunderland for 1.6 million, rising to 2.3. That's mad. I mean, the rest of it isn't too bad. I think Trippier went a bit too cheap. But like I say, it's not too bad there. But we're going to move on to League 2 now and see what dealings Arsenal and Man United have done. Okay then, so not quite as much for Arsenal and Man United with the 8 goings. Giroud has gone to Southampton for 14.75 million. That's a steal. Lucas to Norwich. Mental. Ashley Young, he is getting on, so you'd expect a lower transfer fee for him. And then the rest of it, except obviously Arsenal there. Have they brought anyone in? No, not yet. But look, there's the date. It's only the 2nd of July, so the transfer window has only quite recently been opened up. So what we're going to take you to now is the end of the transfer window, and we'll see where in the league they are at the moment. Okay then guys, we're back with it now, and quite surprisingly Liverpool are leading the pack at the moment. They're winning all 6 of their games, but who have they played against? So they've beaten Chelsea 2-0 away in one of them games, which that's a really good one, because that means Chelsea are actually behind Barrow. And Barrow obviously haven't played any of the big ones yet, so they will fall off, but they're early favourites to be the one team that are going to get into the playoffs. Tottenham and Man City have had a draw. So yeah, Liverpool leading the pack. Would have thought that, eh? Let's have a little look at the transfer activity on this one. Did any of them bring any players in? Man City have signed Dele Alli. Dele Alli has gone from Tottenham to Man City. Iniacho has gone from Man City to Chelsea for a lot of money. Harry Kane has gone to Man City. Emre Can has gone to Man City. Jesus. Darmian has gone from Man United to Chelsea. He's dropped back into the conference. Adam Lallana has gone to Arsenal. Now we're talking some proper transfer activity. This is getting pretty decent now, because these teams down the bottom are actually making some signings. But the one team that hasn't is Liverpool, looking at it, and they're the ones leading the way. Considering they're selling players for a few million quid, mind, and obviously the gate money that you get that they're going to get in these leagues. I mean, is it going to be enough to sustain them? Maybe at the moment, Liverpool have sold Mane to Madrid and Coutinho to Dortmund for pennies, really, if you look at it, and Divock Origi to Dortmund. So Liverpool have sold up. They're selling up, Liverpool are, and they haven't really brought anyone in. But let's have a look. Any managerial movements in this division? Absolutely none. We're going to go over to League 2 now and see what United and Arsenal are doing. Okay, so as expected, United and Arsenal leading the way, first and second, won all 5 of their games, already on double figures on goal difference. So, you can see Man United haven't even conceded one yet. Arsenal. So, looking at it, the results are slightly better than what they were in the National League. It just goes to show how tough a league that is. This is a very realistic game. There's my beloved Newport County doing pretty well in 11th, still in League 2. They didn't get relegated, happy days. But so this isn't about Newport County. This is about our Big Six and the impact that they'll have. being thrown into the bottom of the English league. So Giroud, we knew about his move to Southampton. Damian's obviously dropped down to Chelsea. Lallana has jumped up from Liverpool. And looking at that, Arsenal and Man United haven't really made any signings, but they're selling up. United are selling up. But they're selling a lot of fringe players and, somewhat promising players. They're not selling their main men. And same pretty much with Arsenal. Arsenal haven't really, well, they sold Giroud and Lucas, but it's basically the same again. They're making that few million to sustain themselves throughout the season. So obviously they got to sustain themselves in these lower leagues because they're not going to get the attendances that they should be getting. But I'll tell you something, right? Let's have a little look. We're going to have a little look at what attendance Man United are getting quickly in League 2. What attendance is Man United getting in League 2? Home to Luton. We're going to wait a few seconds to generate the match report. But the attendance, 73,000. So pretty much that says it all. The attendances are still good. So yeah, they can sustain themselves with the players that are on the big money. So there we go. The next step that we're going to take, we are going to be joining this one at the end of November, as we did for last season, just to see the progress in the leagues, but we'll also have a look at Europe and the Premier League as well. So we'll be right back. Okay then, so here we are. This is after 21 games, each of them have played 21. Now, obviously last season it was a bit different because they were all in Europe. This time around they're not. And Liverpool have fallen off the top. But say there's only 4 points in it, so we could all change. Liverpool have lost 2, both against obviously Tottenham and Man City. Chelsea lost Liverpool, Man City lost to Chelsea. Tottenham undefeated. Tottenham have drawn with Man City. Chelsea are drawn away to Boreham Wood. Oh, what? Chelsea drew at Boreham Wood. What a result for Boreham Wood, who are actually doing quite well. A bit of an outside shot for the playoffs, maybe, but Barrow, as we said earlier, could be the team that get into that playoff place. Obviously, it's going to be pointless them getting into it because they're not going to get through to the final. But there you go. Someone's got to get in there. But it's looking like Tottenham could be the team to go up. They were beaten finalists in the playoff final last time round, so you can understand why you may fancy them. Let's look at League 2. Okay, so there you go, League 2 pretty much as expected. Man United leading the pack because they played an extra game than Arsenal and they've drawn one. Who did they draw to? They drew 2-2 at Hartlepool. What a result for Hartlepool, eh? Barnet looking likely to get promoted at the moment. Cheltenham in with a playoff shade. Crawley in with a playoff shade. I mean, who's down there at the bottom then if that's the case? Wrexham and Morecambe. No real surprise there, I suppose. Obviously, new book ain't you doing well? Happy days. Okay, so let's go check out what's going on in the Premier League. Obviously, without the Big Six, that's been an interesting. Okay, so Leicester with a 5-point lead there at the top, and a bit more of what we were expecting last season, mind you, with Southampton and Everton up towards the top end. Leeds looking likely to go down. So yeah, there's no big surprises there. Crystal Palace doing well, mind you. Newcastle should be pushing on. I'd expect Newcastle may end up winning it before any of the Big Six get back there. But no, Leicester looking like they're going to go for 3 in a row. Well. Let's see what's happening with the weaker teams in the Champions League and see if they're representing England any well. So we didn't really check it, but Barcelona obviously went on and won it last year. But let's have a look at how the English teams are doing. Leicester a 3rd in their group. Any other English teams in groups here? Well. What's going on here? Bournemouth 3rd in their group. Stoke 3rd in their group. So one team didn't qualify. We're going to have a look at this, aren't we? So it'll be a best place playoff. And West Ham, that's the other team that were there. And let's get this off. We don't want to see Atletico Madrid. Who's that behind there? I don't know why that's staying there. Alright, CSKA Moscow, not West Ham, mate. Well. Oh well. safe to say that the English teams are doing poor. Are England going to lose some qualifying places? Are the big four going to be needed to hurry up and get back to win those qualifying places back? Are they going to fall off the boil? Are they going to not be so big when they do get back to the Premier League? It's just going to be really interesting to see. What about the Europa League? Okay, so it's looking like a different story in the Europa League. Norwich leading their group, Southampton leading their group. Who else have England got in these groups? Newcastle second in their group. So maybe and West Ham, obviously, because they went out in the playoff stage, they'll obviously be in the Europa League. So it's looking like the English teams are qualifying in there. So maybe this is where England pull their coefficients back, where they're losing them out in the Champions League. Maybe the Europa League is the way to keep those qualifying places alive. Maybe so, but there we go. That's going to be the end of this episode now, guys. Thanks for keeping up with the series. I hope you're enjoying it. Feel free to comment on any predictions that you have. Who is going to be the next team to get into League Two? Man United and Arsenal is looking pretty likely that they're going to go straight into League One. But who's going to be the next ones to get into League Two? Are Leicester going to keep winning the league? Are any of the teams in the Premier League going to use the money wisely? Are they going to build on their reputation enough to become forces in Europe? When the big six do eventually go back to the Premier League, if all of them do end up making it, are they going to become what they were? This is really interesting, guys. I'm really enjoying doing this, and it'd be great to get some feedback on it. So again, thanks for watching, and the next episode will be wrapping the season up. So we'll see who are the next two teams to get into League Two, and yeah, looking very interesting so far. Thanks very much for watching this. Thanks very much for keeping up with it. Until the next time, cheerio for now.